Good evening, friends. Welcome to another round of Round the Clock Cricket with me, Rahul, Sudeep, and Ishanjan joining in. We'll be reviewing three matches today, this week and last week. So we have the first match, which is Punjab Kings versus Gujarat Titans. Then we have Delhi Capitals versus CSK, and the final match we have is PBKS versus SRH, I think. Yes, PBKS and SRH. So over to the first match, PBKS GT at Ahmedabad on the 3rd of May, and GT won that match. Sudeep, GT, PBKS surprisingly, after a long time, moved out from the top. Now
Yeah,
SRH is at the top. And what we discussed, picking early problem with RR. RR now is almost on the verge of going from the top four because
yeah,
GT is pushing RR. So RR
they have,
might well be ruled out. What's your take on PBKs overall before we go into the batting bowling? PBK is losing one after another, losing matches.
yeah, and yes, and a common, problem with most of the teams, who have peaked very early, the openers giving them an explosive start, but if they fail, the middle order is not able to cope up
Yes,
with the pressure. And this
we
is
discussed
common with
this.
a lot of teams, in this tournament. So
Right.
this identical thing happened, and surprisingly, the top
Again,
four
Priyans and Simran again failed.
again failed, and the top four failed. Even Shreyas Iyer
Yes.
and
Shreyas is again
Konoli
failing, which is
and
very surprising because
Konoli.
Sudeep, what Shreyas is becoming, a main contender for T20 captain post Surya. So
Yeah,
if this is the form he's going through, it will be a little tough because
and
IPL is, benchmark for a lot of things in Indian cricket.
it is important. If Shreyas Iyer wants to get back into the T20 side, it's very
And
important
as
that
a
he wins
captain, and as a
as a
captain.
captain, that he wins this tournament. This is very important because unless and until he wins this tournament, because nowadays, selection is based mostly on IPL performances.
Performances.
It's not the Ranji Trophy is no longer the criteria, unfortunately. But
Hmm.
now, of course, IPL, of course, will be a big factor in T20 selection, no doubt. And for
Yeah,
that, Shreyas Iyer has to perform. Otherwise, again he will lose out, to some other person. But
correct.
coming back to this match, I
Yeah.
was, one good perspective, one positive aspect, was I was just going watching the match. Suyansh Shedge, from Maharashtra, absolutely brilliant knock.
Yes.
He's
Yes, that
the
knock. I didn't. The first time I'm watching him, and he really played really
and
well.
his range of shots were really amazing. It's as good as Prab Simran and Priyank Chadha, you can say.
Mm.
Almost as
Correct.
good, if not better, but
Correct.
almost as
Correct.
good. So I think his innings was very very extremely well timed, and absolutely his short range is very good, and he has the potential, or he has a good future if he can keep this momentum.
Correct. And also, I think GT, this was GT. Yeah, GT bowlers also bowled pretty well. Everyone
Yeah,
more or less at around six, seven.
everybody, yeah.
Yes.
They
Ashdeep,
struck
Marco
at the right
Jansen,
moment.
Vijay Kumar was an impact player, Marcus Stoinis, everyone bowled well. And of course, in this IPL, we've been telling time and again, anything less than 220 is a poor score. So 163
Absolutely.
was supposedly to be
163 is nowadays 163 is hardly any score because
any score.
nowadays
Absolute.
people are scoring 250, 250
250.
odd. Even while scoring, Mumbai scored
Delhi,
228 and lost the match
Delhi scored 265 and lost.
and lost the match. So
So,
nowadays,
yes,
the benchmark is I think 200 plus nowadays.
easily.
Yeah.
And about 90 to 100 in the power play. So
And
that's the
plus
benchmark.
you got to have a very good bowling lineup, then only you can defend
Yes,
even
yes.
200
And
plus scores now.
what we are seeing with PBKs and RR, Sudeep, is both these teams are top
Losing
heavy,
momentum.
very strong, losing momentum. Well, SRH is now coming up after a slight hiccup. Although Abhishek Sharma and Travis said have faltered, but they're really coming up, which we'll discuss in later stage.
Absolutely,
But I think a
absolutely.
PBKs is a worry now. They've lost three matches, I think. Now they have, if I'm not wrong, they've lost
Yeah,
three.
yeah,
And the next
yeah.
match that we'll discuss also SRH, they also lost that match. So
That
they
match
are
also,
losing
yeah,
back-to-back matches, but only
yeah.
thing because they
So,
won so many in the beginning, they are basically in a position not to move out of that position. Probably looks like after 10 matches, looks like they are going to uh, qualify along with RR, along
yeah,
with
they will
SRH
qualify.
and
But the
Yeah.
most important factor is, they are losing the momentum, which is a
Yes.
which is a
Yes. True.
concern, basically
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
team,
Yeah. True. Another thing now coming to the DC batting, the GT
GT
batting,
batting,
uh,
yeah.
GT batting, okay for Sai Sudarshan again doing well, but Shubman Gill, I think now fair and square, Sudeep doesn't look like he will play T20 for India in the
He's
near
not
future.
a
Doesn't look like.
doesn't look like a T20 player at all
Yes,
nowadays.
yes,
He
yes.
he
And
has,
I think the T20 captaincy will go to Shreyas, where Shubman will be the captain for Test and ODI.
and Shubman Gill, after his injury, this Calcutta Test, he hasn't
Yes,
looked
correct,
the same batsman as before. He seemed
correct.
his problem with his timing and his range of
Yes,
shots is.
range
I
of
think
shots, very
he's
true.
struggling at the moment. He's struggling. The fluency, the rhythm is not there in his batting, which used to
Also,
be.
what is your take, Sudeep, on Washington at five? We have discussed this a number of times. Washington at
Yeah.
five, although he played very well, do you think at five is an okay player
I
coming
think
ahead of Rahul Tewatia?
I think that was the first time I think he played some kind of a knock, of substance
Knock,
that day.
correct,
Otherwise,
correct,
he has failed basically as a as a batsman in the entire tournament.
correct,
And what
right.
is more worrying, even Jose Butler is also out of form. I think he's past
Yes.
his prime. This could be
I
his
think the
last.
main problem
They
for
may not
GT
retain
is
him
Josh
next year.
Butler. May not retain him. Same thing for Surya Kumar also. Surya Kumar may not be retained. I think he might
Yeah,
retire. That's
he
what I'm
might
hearing.
retire. He might
He
retire
might
because
retire.
he's just totally out of the
And BCCI is in discussion with Gautam Gambhir because Gambhir wants him to be there till 2028. But given the India's bench strength in T20, I don't think
but
Surya Kumar fits into the side. He's
because
37.
he's
I don't think he
now a
fits in this.
liability with the bat actually,
Yes,
because
absolutely. He's a liability.
he's struggling
See,
with his timing.
when you have YJ, when you have Vaibhav, when you have so many players, you have Prabsimran, Priyansh, when you have too many players, Mukul Chaudhary, Ayush Matre, it's very difficult to keep your side because,
Difficult, yeah.
I mean, difficult,
You
very
cannot
difficult.
justify his selection actually at the
Absolute,
moment.
absolute. A little bit on the bowling, Sudeep, the uh, bowling of our Punjab Kings. Do you think it was good enough bowling on behalf of Punjab? Punjab, what was Punjab's bowling? Do you
Actually,
think
the some of the bowlers bowled really well, but this defending 163 is a big
it
challenge,
is not
in this
bit challenging
in
in this year
in
IPL?
IPL
Yes,
in this this
correct,
IPL.
correct,
How
correct.
much how well you bowl, it is
Uh,
very difficult to because the
hmm,
opposition, it's very difficult to defend 163. It's not
correct,
defendable
correct,
at this moment. I mean,
correct. True,
out of 10, you may defend once, but 9 out of 10 you
right,
are going to lose the match. This is
right.
the problem.
True,
But their
true,
bowlers, some of
true.
the bowlers bowled well, Arshdeep Singh and then this
Yes,
Vyashar.
yes,
They
very
bowled
true.
very well. But it
Yes.
was not enough, not enough runs on
Hmm,
the scoreboard.
hmm,
That
hmm.
is a big problem.
So I think what we are concluding is that GT will have to win a lot of matches, the remaining, because they are on five. I think they are on fifth in the table, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
they are fifth,
yeah.
and yeah, they're fifth. Maybe they're pushing RR badly.
And with the CSK breathing down their neck, so this is going to
Yes,
be a
CSK.
very
Ishanjan pointed out, unlike MI, CSK is climbing, slowly climbing, and
slowly.
could beat a lot of teams at the end, the business in the
Absolutely.
last
And
few
I
matches.
think we'll discuss this in the later part of this
Yes,
show.
yes, sure,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, we'll
PBK's
discuss.
GT match, I think PBKS may qualify now. They will qualify, but they have to be little. I mean, they will have to be counting themselves now because Sudeep, if you lose the last end, the business end of the tournament, then going to playoff, you might have your confidence little dampened.
But
A
GT,
team which wins
one
set,
positive impact they had, the
yeah,
Jason Holder's inclusion, that has,
yes, you have
galvanized.
been crying for it. You wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
play
yeah.
Jason. So
So that has
Jason
really
Holder
galvanized the squad, but still,
galvanized the squad.
I still feel, I would like to have your comment, the batting
Yeah,
order does not inspire much confidence. If you look at the GT's batting order,
we
it's
have discussed
slightly
this number
brittle.
of times.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's brittle,
I
it's
think
like,
what is happening is like SRH, Subman Gill is slowly becoming a liability. Why I'm saying so, he might be a great player. Definitely he is. He's 26, he's young. But you know the nature of the game. T20 is like a business
it's
model.
not
If you
everybody's
don't
game,
bring,
a cup
it
of
is
tea,
not
actually.
everybody's game. Brilliant. Absolutely right. I mean, I don't know whether Dean Jones and Michael Bevan, who are big one-day specialists, would have been actually successful.
No,
This is a
I
very
doubt, I doubt.
ruthless
It's a
type of game.
very,
You
very,
think Sachin Tendulkar played 5 years of T20 till 2013, but
yeah.
he was not great. He was not very
He
successful. He
was
was
not
okay.
very, he was okay,
Successful.
but
Okay.
not very successful
Saurav and Rahul were not successful at all.
at all, at
So
all.
it is a difficult game because people find difficult to pace. You need to be and nowadays, Sudeep, you have to score 200 plus. Your strike rate has to be
Absolutely.
200. You have to score 400, 500 runs or take 20 wickets. I have a feeling that it puts a lot of pressure on a lot of teams.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yes, true. So on that note, we will draw. I mean, we come to the end of this first match between DC and PBKS, and we'll move to the second match, which is DC and CSK.